Sick of old eBay inventory. I am. I don't know about you guys. Are you sick of old eBay inventory, Kaaren?
Put it this way. Everything must go.
Welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel. Oh, sorry, I just hit the camera there with my foot. That was bad. And we are glad that you're here today. This channel, we talk about being a reseller and e-commerce selling platforms. I am, of course, Prof Sales.
I'm not. Talk to the hand. See what I did there?
Wow.
Just ask Kaaren.
And this show, we try to keep a positive outlook towards our business and being an entrepreneur because I think that's how you get the best results. So today we have a live chat going. If you ever want to join us, we're usually on at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you can join us live. But of course, leave a question or comment if you catch this show later on the replay. And of course, check out the links down below in the description of this video for all kinds of helpful things that will help you in your business.
Phew, that's quite an intro.
It's like a PSA. I think I should get paid by the word. I'm going to talk to my boss and see if I can get a raise. It's not going to happen. So a few things to talk about today, and this will kind of be you guys' day as well. But we're gonna talk about a couple things here, and we really don't have a set agenda, so that's always good. Thank you, Sarah, for saying your White House is looking amazing. I think she means warehouse.
Or your
she said WH.
Your Woo Hampshire.
So yeah, we'll kind of give you a little scan around. We have some of the shoes here you can see over Kaaren's back shoulder, and we'll show you guys some of that. We've gotten all the jeans are here now, thankfully, and I've started putting those in bins and so on. But but speaking of jeans, Kaaren and I were talking today about inventory, and we were talking about old items, right? I don't remember how the conversation came up. Do you?
No.
Yeah, we were talking about I don't know.
No, we were talking about how long do we hold on to stuff? How long do we hold on to other people's stuff? What's reasonable? And then that always leads to, well, Prof, how long are we going to hold on to our own stuff? We have some stuff here locally that we're like, how long are we going to? So it sort of evolved into that. And as always, when the conversation turns towards older inventory, the #1 pair of jeans first ever listed, which has never sold for whatever reason, always comes up. And I told him, you should like auction it, but nobody really wants to. Like, who gives a flip?
To the highest bidder.
Who gives a flip about our oldest pair of jeans? So when we got back to business mode, we talked seriously about, okay, what do we do with inventory that doesn't sell? Well, at some point, since we're not emotionally attached or attached at the hip physically to any of it, we're going to close it out. And that can look different. Like we have different options for that, right?
Right.
And the first thing is what we're going to talk about today, right? Like, what are we going to do? And for us, it's easy because of how we enter things into our inventory and subsequently through our fields in eBay. We can take, let's say, everything from a certain SKU number down and instantly and groupily modify. Groupily, that means all together.
That's not a word.
Me and the hand say so. But we can instantly edit all of those listings in one fell swoop and change them, for example, to say all of them will be the same price. All of them will have the same shipping terms, whatever. And we can do that from, did that make sense? Like, yes. I did it in Kaaren language.
You're like going way ahead to what I was going to talk about, but please continue.
Oh, I'm not really good. I don't have a script.
We have no agenda.
So I'm just kind of winging it.
It's terrible. We do this all the time.
So that's one way that we're going to do it. Did I leave anything out?
No. I think that was a great coverage of it. And
okay, show's over. No, just kidding.
A couple things I would add on is that, we've started selling consignment items. And one of the things we talked about early on was how long do we keep an item for a consignor before we say, hey, what do you want us to do with this item? Because we can't store it forever, right? How many guys out there in a virtual show of hands have items that you've had listed for, say, more than 6 months or a year or even more than a year? Just type it in the chat and we'll kind of go through a couple of them. But we have some items that have been listed 1 year, 2 years, coming up on 3 years.
Really? #1 could be 3?
Yeah. Some of those early ones are. And I started thinking about it, and for consignment sellers, we have the 6-month window. I think that should be our window for, oh, you grabbing me a water? Oh, no, I thought she was grabbing me a water.
One moment.
I think the 6-month window should be the same for us as eBay sellers. So I think that's what we're going to do. Now, it's tricky because if you're relisting your items, you don't have the original date that you listed it necessarily, because it kind of creates a new listing in eBay. But if you're using like sequential numbers for your SKUs, like if you're saying item number 1, item number 2, item number 3, as like your system, you can kind of know by when you listed things, you know, you could kind of keep track. You could say, all right, well, on March 1st, I listed item number 500. On April 1st, I listed item number 600, so on. So you can always kind of look back and say, all right, all the items older than this SKU number are older than 6 months. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of going through our list on eBay, and we're going to take all the 6-month items or more and really try to get rid of them. Now, this is where I freaked Kaaren out when I told her what we were going to do with them. And she's like, well, what do you want to sell them for? And I thought, well, I thought we could sell jeans at $15 with free shipping. And she went, what?
Yeah, I said some other words too, but what will work for now?
Because that doesn't leave you a lot of profit, depending on what you pay for your jeans. If you paid $5 for jeans and you sell them for $15 with free shipping, which is going to cost you about $6.90, maybe a little more if you just use a flat rate envelope instead of padded flat rate, you're only going to have a couple bucks, maybe $2.50, $2.75 worth of profit. You're not going to have a lot of profit. Now, but as you quickly piped up and said,
as I quickly figured out, it's capital. Right now, they're just taking up space. And we talked about it on the last show, that's the benefit. Like, we get that things are long tail sometimes, but how long a tail is too long, right? So in this instance, if we can blow these things out, we can get money. Are you touching my tail?
How long a tail?
See, the hand grows on you, does it not? It's
like
still,
a fungus.
It still needs a name, by the way.
Like something you need ointment for.
And it's got fuzzies that are making my nose itch.
Absolutely.
But, maybe that's the bin we got it out of. I don't even want to think about it. But anyway, so 2 things are going to happen. Well, 3 things. Maybe people won't want to buy the things, right? But in blowing those things out and putting them on clearance before ultimately perhaps they don't sell after our agreed upon time or whatever, and then we donate them, whatever.
Right.
So we're going to get capital, which right now we don't have, and whether or not it replaces it doesn't matter so much. But we're going to get the capital for it, and then we're also going to free up space.
That's exactly right. And you can turn that back into something else. So that's something to always, like, there's a cost to your money sitting on your shelves, right? And I have been a proponent in the past of saying, well, if you've got the space, keep them as long as you want and try to make the sale. But I've reached a point where I realized that it would be nice to get that money back out, because here's something that I really didn't anticipate or really think about when I made that statement, keep them as long as you want if you've got the space. I'm a better reseller than I was a year ago. And I'm certainly a better one than I was 2 years or 3 years ago. So I'm going to make a better decision with that capital today than I would have made back then. In my opinion, I'm going to put it back into something that's going to sell quicker. It's going to make a faster profit. You know, all the things we talked about in terms of like how to increase your profitability on Monday's show. So I think if I can get that capital back out, then I can make a better decision. And that's just kind of how we're looking at it. So I think what I'm going to do, maybe I'll make them $20 with free shipping.
Okay.
Does that make you feel a little better?
Oh, it does. Well, and we have some wiggle room. Like you can have like clearance round 1, clearance round 2, and then.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I can always take them down another notch or 2. But we're going to try to move them. So I'm going to go through and identify all the older SKUs. And somebody asked about, is 6 months enough time to cover both seasons? That's a great question, Mandy. And my answer is it depends. Jeans, other than in the dead of summer, sell pretty well year round.
What is Mandy's question?
Do you think 6 months would cover both seasons? I started 5 months ago. So do I have really old stuff? Yes and no. I mean, you got to understand too, if you only started 5 months ago, you're still evolving as a reseller quite a bit. So you're still learning about pictures, how to get the best pricing, what specifics to add, things like that. So there's still some value probably to you holding on your ends a little longer, but you might want to go back and tweak some of those listings. I'm not saying go back and make a whole nother thing, like make a whole new listing, but I think there is some benefit to going in and maybe retweaking your titles, checking your pricing, maybe item specifics if necessary.
Well, and this is a natural part of reseller evolution. I was going to say reseller revolution, but that's a whole different thing. So it's all a part of our evolution. You know, several of our friends, publicly and privately, have said, you know, they've found inventory that maybe they forgot to list, or they're looking back on old inventory and they're like, what was I thinking when I bought this? Well, you were just doing it. You were sourcing, you were doing what you thought you needed to do at the time. And just because you buy something at one time doesn't mean you're going to hold on to it forever. And we all learn, we all grow, we all evolve. And there are some genes in here now, like for us, the 6 months, that might even be a little long tail for us, right, because of what we're looking for now and how we're structuring our listings and what we're sourcing. So when we did that last inventory, in fact, the big last physical inventory that we took, I made us pull out by hand and look at, touch, examine. Are you doing a big sigh? Every pair. And I can remember, like, there were several, like, Levi signature jeans in there.
Here we go.
Yeah, well, I never forget. But, you know, like, I'm looking at these jeans thinking, what were we thinking? And not to be too harsh or too critical, but we were thinking like we should have been thinking. You were thinking, because a couple of those were, you know, older, but you were thinking exactly how you should have been thinking at the time.
Right.
And now we've just evolved into something new. So I'm with you. Long story for Mandy. Answer short, long. Anyway, just give it a little bit more time and then start culling, I think. But 6 months usually should be enough to get you through. But in your case, give yourself a little bit extra wiggle room and some grace so that you're sure you're doing all of the things well.
Yeah, and I think if you're selling a vintagey type clothing item, for instance, that may not have a seasonality to it. You know, if you're selling vintage Ralph Lauren polo sweaters from, you know, 20 years ago, the ones with the teddy bears on them or whatever, that you may want to keep longer. First of all, it's going to sell for a lot more money. Second of all, you need to find that one buyer, and they just haven't seen it yet. They just haven't come to your listing yet. But I think that in a lot of cases, I think that you need to kind of move your items out a little bit quicker. I'm not saying this is not a fast nickel slow dime talk. It's more just about the cost of tying up your capital and also your evolution as a seller. You're going to get better and better at it, but your old items are always there to kind of drag you down to some degree because there's capital tied up. Just because they're sitting there doesn't mean they're not costing you money. They're costing you money you could be reflipping into something new. Again, there are exceptions with certain specific, unique items that you may want to keep a long time to wait for somebody very particular to find them. But if it's sort of run-of-the-mill commodity type items, like a lot of us who are clothing sellers have a lot of commodity. Like when I start going through these jeans, I'm going to find a lot of jeans. I'm like, you know, this is not anything special about this pair of jeans. There's tons of them for sale. I just need to see if I can move this one out. And so I'll go in, change the price, maybe tweak it a little bit, look at item specifics, and then put it in my clearance section and be done with it, hopefully. And hopefully it'll move. And then I don't know how much longer I'll hold on to it there. I mean, that's another question altogether. But there's just ways that, you know, you can do this. People are talking about the SKUs and so on. You definitely can put SKUs in your title. But I'm going to tell you one thing that's tricky about that. It's very difficult on eBay sometimes to sort your SKUs if they're in the title field, because it allows you to sort a specific field all at once, right? And I'm talking about within eBay. I'm not talking about if you download them as a CSV and then manipulate them in a spreadsheet. That's different. But to actually sort them in eBay by column, and the title is just a column, to do that by like order, it doesn't necessarily do it by the SKU number, because the SKU number may be anywhere in your item. You know, it's usually not the first thing you put. Usually you have a title, and that's how it's going to sort it. So if you put the SKU number over in the custom label field, and that's the only thing you have over there, it can very easily sort that numerically, and you can very easily tell, you know, what's what. But just something to consider.
I just figured out a job for the puppet. What was Wes's second to the last comment? What did he just get?
Wes's?
Yeah. He got something in feedback. It's a celebration.
Oh, 10,000.
As Fuzz goes through the...
Now there's fuzz on the jeans.
Yay, Wes. So what we're celebrating here is Wes hit, does that
22,000 transactions. Man, that's
no,
awesome.
This one. How many
10,000
feedbacks?
feedback.
Yep. Yep, that's awesome. So we just did a hand dance for you. That's cool.
That is a lot of thingies. Congratulations. That is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we'll show you some warehouse stuff here in a moment.
Oh, we will?
Well, why not? I mean, we got the shoes here, which are, like we said, they're over there. So actually, we still have one thing of shoes to bring, I think.
Yeah, one left.
Now I think about it.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what we're thinking with this old inventory, guys. 6 months. I don't know what your number is or what makes sense in your business, but you should probably come up with a number. You should probably come up with sort of a drop dead date, even if you're like, but this item is so cool and I just know that this $16 item will sell. Let's try to move it out, get rid of it, reflip the capital, get something else going. And just, move on from there. So hopefully that makes sense.
Well, and here's the thing. We also talk about, like, when you're just getting started, especially, the easiest way to do it is through the free stuff that you already own, right? But we tend to attach emotions to those things, right? Oh, I have to hold on to this plate from the Grand Canyon from that trip I took in 1987 with my cousin Bob. I mean, okay, but at some point the plate has to go. And we've had, you guys have watched me evolve personally on a lot of that stuff. Granted, I got mad one day and just donated all of it. But hey, that's progress, right?
Yeah.
But we have all of these things in addition to this stuff and the regular stuff and the on-purpose stuff. We've got all this other personal stuff that is of value that we're wanting to sell or to list or let go locally. And part of that conversation this morning was, okay, well, how long are we going to hold on to it? And I'm here to tell you, friends, that once you start getting into that habit, that routine where you're able to part with the things and you're not putting too much unrealistic value or emotional attachment to that item, it becomes easier and it becomes more of a, you're thinking with your business mind and you're making decisions that are ultimately going to make you more money. Because if I have an entire shelf full of children's books, and they meant a lot when my son was, 3, but they're just not going to resell, and they're really not the kind of things I'm going to want to, lug around 100 pounds of books until if he ever has, you know what I mean? So once you get into that habit and you're giving up the space, are you like getting all nostalgic and proud of me because I've come so far? Other
people are in the chat too.
But this has been a big struggle, and if I can do it, like Miss, every time I walked into this warehouse up until a couple months ago, I would burst into tears. Like, true story. If I can do this, you can do it. If I can decide that space is going to be better served with this newly sourced item, if I can decide that death pile is just not going to sit there anymore, and I'm either going to donate it or I'm going to list it, you guys can do it too. So that's my cheerleader thing for today.
Yep.
Is that you just what we told Ben, right? Just do it. Just do something. It's the next thing. It's the next right thing for you. And once you take that first baby step, I promise you it becomes easier. And you've got a wealth of support in this community. Like, everybody here, present company especially, will support you in that. And if you need reminders, hey, we're here to remind you. Okay, rant over.
DJ asks, don't your jeans get a dust line with the way you have them on the shelf? That is why we are putting them in those big gray containers you see back over my left shoulder. And I've actually got a few more of those to fill out today. We're going to fill all of them in those containers that we're purchasing.
Just to be safe.
Just to be safe, because you're exactly right. I am worried about dust, but the jeans are no longer going to sit out. And hopefully that'll keep them from getting a lot less dusty.
Well, and another worry about the jeans, and we actually had blackout curtains in our storage room where we had them at the house. But another worry, if you do stack your jeans like that and there is a window anywhere in the room, they can get those UV lines.
Right.
Like, literally, the sunlight will bleach a fold line in your jeans. So please, 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 if you're not putting them in containers, or if they're not in a sun-free room, and I mean like totally sun-free, it would surprise you what little amount of rays will make a difference.
That darn sun giving us life.
But yes, so you would be surprised.
Adam, thank you for the super chat. Very gracious. We do appreciate it.
You can do it.
This is you can do it. Oh, you can read that.
You
don't have your
can.
glasses on.
Yeah, I'm making out shapes. It's a you can do it.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you very much, Adam. We much appreciated. And we have 109 viewers watching, Kaaren, and that's quite a few.
Oh, I hope all 109 of you will smash the like button, mateys.
Yeah, if you're enjoying I don't know if they can understand the pirate. Some people who don't know you.
And I'm chomping on chewing gum. My apologies. I usually do never chew gum.
Yes. So
I'm off the chain today. And I'm making noise. Can I do my show and tell? Can I? Since I'm interrupting?
Sure.
So what is this? Who knows what this is? Well,
it's a reflector.
Just a reflector. Name that song. Well, I just did, didn't I? But anyway, it is a pizza cutter from the dollar store. But more importantly, we talked about this a couple shows back. Does anybody know? It is a Franken box scorer. I'm going to use this instead of scissors or box cutters, or I could go and buy a scorer. But we're using this to score boxes. Yes, see? Pizza cutter. Adam got
Box
it.
reducer. That technically could be.
Box modificationer.
Pizza cutter. Some people capitalize the P.
It is. But specifically it's a Betty Crocker dollar store.
Lauren
so anyway,
wants to know if we're making pizza.
Well, we could.
That's a good idea.
Cardboard pizza. But the scissors and box cutters just really, they put like a line. If you're too, I'm a little aggressive when it comes to Frankenboxing sometimes. So I got this. It's like like bumpers you put on the corner of your coffee table for your toddler. That's this for me. But this is going to help us. And we're going to do a recorded show about how to make this particular Frankenbox that I'm just like, I look for excuses to make it. Like I might even send somebody an empty box just so I could make a box. But that's what this is. And we'll talk more about this another time. But dollar store pizza cutter. Great item to have.
Don't forget about the dollar store for cheap office supplies or things you need. It is a great resource. So,
and I'm a big repurposer.
Yeah, and you don't need top of the line stuff for a lot of things. A lot of things like just anything that will remotely even work will work. All right, that was bad.
So we're gonna do like a screen share, or we're saving that?
No, I'm gonna talk about our sale.
But that involves a screen share, does it not? Kind of.
Yes. Oh, I thought you meant something else. Show and tell.
I'm going to drink over here.
She's going to drink over there. Just water. That's not vodka. We promise. All right. So as many of you know, we have gotten involved in this consignment business, which has really been awesome, I think is the word I might use. Yeah. And it's only just starting. But one of the things that we got a lot of shoes from our first consigner. But one of the things that they gave us too was this really cool phone set. And this phone set was something like, we figured it was probably something you would use at like a corporate, like a store. It was at a store, right? It was like at a Gander Mountain or somewhere like that.
Like a multi-department place.
Yes. And it would be like the phones that people would use on the sales floor, but they were these cool little phones, and there's a base unit, and then there's obviously the phones themselves. And we had actually been putting off listing these. We knew they were valuable, but we wanted to test. We wanted to make sure they came on. We wanted to make sure we kind of got the right photos. And they literally were the last thing we listed.
Right.
Which is pretty funny.
And it had a learning curve. Like whenever you sell a used electronic, especially in this case, it's basically, not to go into a big technical, but it's like a cordless phone set on steroids. So it's a VoIP. They're VoIP handhelds. And they're all set up to be on the same network and all this, but we needed to educate ourselves. There's you have to blank them. You have to make sure they work. Are they booting up? Are they taking a charge? Are they holding the charge? So there was a bit of a learning curve, and we wanted to stay very conscious of, like INAD, like we didn't want to get an item not as described, or because of the potential high dollar amount we would fetch for these particular items. That's not a return we want to handle or have to deal with if we don't have to, right? So we kind of took a little longer with that on purpose, and it's kind of like, it's not the kind of thing that we're already niched in, so it's like one of those one-off kind of things where you have to educate in the moment on the fly. And we did, and funny thing, what did we list them yesterday?
We listed yesterday. We got quite a few questions about them. I guess, for lack of better. And it was amazing. Like I got people, we struggled because we didn't know whether to list them all together. We had 9 of them, or to list them separately. We finally decided on listing them separately because there were quite a few that sold separately. And I thought, well, you know, Kaaren, not many have sold as a bundle. Most of them sold separately. But we went ahead and listed them that way. And I had somebody message me and say, I would be interested in buying all your phones. I'm like, whoa, all right, great.
Really?
And I looked them up on eBay, and it turns out they were actually somebody who refurbishes these phones and flips them back out as refurbished. So, you know, they're basically doing what we're doing. They're reselling. And they gave me a price, and then I gave them a counter offer, and we came to an agreement. And this was basically the total sale for those phones, which is crazy.
What's that green number?
Well, the green number is the percentage. The green number is the percentage up compared to yesterday. So it's greater than 1,000%, which is insane. So that's a screenshot of the sale. The actual phones themselves were actually. Let me see if I can pull those up for you. Actually, oh, hold on. Let's stop with that. And I can actually show you guys like what the actual phones were. Not because this is not like a BOLO or anything like that. Let's make sure I got this looking right. I think I do. But this was the actual phones themselves. You can see they're a Cisco 7925G, and they're just a little VoIP phone, little handset. They look kind of older actually when you see them. Some of them had cracks and chips, which we disclosed. We probably took about 8 to 10 photos of each one on average.
Well, yeah, because since I get paid per photo, Prof.
She does not get paid per photo.
So look, the hand, it's a celebration. So it's the biggest single sale, right? Is the point? Like our little.
It's the biggest single day
our little
we've had
celebration
on our short eBay history here.
Ever. Oh, look, he can do like his end fingers, right?
Yeah, we've actually sold a few things since then too, so it's actually even bigger. But my point in saying all that, guys, is it's just that you cannot be afraid. I guess it probably comes off as a slight brag. Sorry, apologies. But really the reason I bring it up is because you can't be afraid of exploring different models in your business. You can't be afraid of selling things that are outside of your comfort zone. If there's value, there's value. I'm not saying you have to look at all the thingies, as we say, because, you know, trying to look at everything and figure out if there's value gets very exhausting. But when, you know, there is something like that, don't be afraid of it. Like, do your homework, do your research. We took extra time with it.
Well, and here's some backstory. And some of y'all like this bumpy stuff and some of you don't. But in true confession here, you suggested that perhaps I was purposefully dragging my feet.
Did I do that?
Yeah. So because you were just like, can we just get these listed and photographed? And very gently, I suggested back to you. I'm being way too diplomatic.
Karen's description of gently is interesting.
But my response was, well, you know, Prof, I don't want to do this.
She calls me Prof. We're not on the show. No,
I don't want to do this halfway, right?
True.
And I said, you know, I need you to understand that these phones need to be reset. We have to make sure that, you know, that they do all the thingies that we talked about already. And so that, I mean, that was that. Was I dragging my feet? Maybe a little bit. I mean, I wasn't looking forward to all of a sudden immersing myself. I know a little bit about those types of phones. That was my job before this. But it took a little bit of an education, and it took some time that I just really wasn't wanting to spend. You know, I got to the point where it says do X, Y, and Z to reset and reformat. And when the phone didn't do what it said it was supposed to do, I was like, okay, moving on.
And here's one of the coolest things, guys. I wish I could have recorded for you, or maybe even for myself, really. But when these phones were listed as 9 individual phones, and I agreed on a price with the buyer of $278 per phone, right? But I didn't have them as a bundle listing. They were 9 individual ones. So I sent them basically, you know, all 9 listings and like the links to them. And I literally got 9 cha-chings in a row of $278. It was great.
Nothing self-serving about that.
I was
right?
like, this is the most beautiful set of sounds, which was amazing to get. So just a little backstory.
Well, and is there a way to kind of lump the thingies together that we just didn't know how to do? Or
we could have put them together initially as a lot, but there wasn't like an easy way I could find. If you guys know in the chat or you're watching this afterwards, if you've made 9 individual listings and somebody wants to buy them all, is there an easy way to lump those together into one sale where they can make an offer below what you've actually paid or you said? I don't think there is. I looked all through eBay and I Googled it several times. I couldn't figure out a way to do it. I could have delisted them and made them all one bundle listing and had the person buy it. The risk there is somebody else could buy it at that price before they did. So I didn't want to do that either. So it was pretty cool to get that many. And I don't know if I could have done it a different way in a lot though, but it would have been simpler.
Well, and since you're in a happy place right now, I'm going to tell on you again. So in between all of this offering and paying and offering and paying and offering and paying, an offer came in on the very last phone from someone else.
Yeah.
And we were kind of in a discussion, like this big, deep discussion, and the offer came in and he accepted it and it was wrong. And so the brakes.
Yeah, it was screwing. Okay, so April asked, how are you shipping? And I'm glad you brought that up because we didn't tell that part of it.
And we have to talk about that because that's another evolution for us. So because the dollar amount was so high, we could not put it in one box for USPS. No.
Well, it wasn't, we couldn't put it in one box. We could, the phones don't weigh much. We could not insure it for enough.
That's what I meant.
In one box. We could have insured each separate one, but that would have been, well, we couldn't even really do that. We could not, again, question here for you guys. The value of these phones was $2,500, all right? So we could not figure out a way with USPS or even that other, there's like a secondary insurance option to insure that package for enough. So we had to go to UPS.
And create an account, which we need to do it anyway. Right. And then the next step will be to get that local rep to come and give us a better rate than what we're getting, right? Because right now we're just like Joe Schmo rate on the thingy, but we created a USPS, which UPS account, UPS account. So yeah,
and the insurance to put $2,500 of insurance on those phones. Actually, I put $2,600. Costs like $23 and something, so it's a little under $1 per 1,000 or per $100. Just in case you guys, FYI, I don't know if it's the same. If you have a commercial rate, you might get a better deal than that. I'm not sure. But it ended up costing us like, what, $40 to ship it?
Ish, yeah.
Because 23 of that was the insurance.
And what's wicked cool about the bonuses is we have one of those UPS stores like in walking distance. I didn't walk because it's way cold today. But I went in and just like our new post office, they are so lovely. So not only did they give me one of those cool plastic windows that you can put the invoice or the shipping thingy in, but she also gave me, and I don't want to get her in trouble, but she gave me a roll of blank labels so that we can play. You think
they're watching UPS?
They might be. But they gave us a roll, like flat out roll of blank labels to experiment with and some of the windows. And that's just, I'm so like, how nerdy resellery is that I get all geeky about and happy about going to see my UPS people.
Very nerdy.
Or my USPS people, because we're coming from, and Luke can attest, like I'm sure he doesn't miss our post office. Like we're coming from one of the more affluent post offices in this area, and it's the worst. We're up here now, and they are the nicest, most helpful, friendly. Like I'm bringing these people cookies for Christmas. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah. Is there a way to do a hidden listing and send the buyer a link? I think there is.
Yeah,
maybe
we could have done that. We could have done that.
It's possible we could have done that. It just in the moment, and I wasn't sure I wasn't sure this person would pay. I mean, I felt really confident because it's their business to refurbish them. That's clearly what they did with the listings they sold. And I told them that in the first email. I said, hey, looks like you refurbished these and that's cool, but I need to get a little bit more for them than you initially offered. So that's where we settled, and I was fine with that. My consignor was fine with it too. I mean, he was only in them for like $100 and some or something like that. So he's going to make out like
bonus,
a bandit.
bonus. And yeah, Adam, so UPS will give you free window sticker thingies, and then they'll also give you free blank labels, and they'll also give you, just like the post office, those free envelope mailer thingies. So once you have an account, most definitely. So hey, reminder, we need to order some of those window sticky thingies.
For sure. Adam says, is that what you responded to?
Yes.
The free labels. Okay.
Yep.
I thought so.
But this was a girl in the store. Like we were talking about, she uses a Zebra 450, by the way. But she had given me the other things and just gave me a free roll of labels. And she didn't have to do that. Like, she was like, go order them online. But then she just gave them to me. Hey, Rob, look at that blue banner.
Nice. Rob with the super chat. Ask if this happy post office is in Mayberry. Okay, Mayberry does not exist.
It's not a real place.
It's not a real place. It was loosely based on Mount Airy, North Carolina, but I think
I get the feeling that he's lumping us in with like every country town in North Carolina. I think that's
somehow a slight.
Maybe.
But he gave us a super chat, so it offset it.
So we'll,
Thanks, Rob. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. No, this was in the big city of Charlotte, where, like most big cities, it's not very friendly in our government offices.
And it's at a post office that is not as heavily trafficked as ours. And maybe that's why they're in a better mood. They just aren't overwhelmed with work.
But they are the most friendly, professional. Like, there's 3 guys and a woman. Not that that matters or anything, but every time you go in there, it's just, what is that?
Wade Ventures with the $20 super chat.
Oh my gosh!
Man, that is awesome. Thank you, Wade, so much. I'm gonna
get all teary.
She will. We've got to get Wade. You've got to come on the channel too at some point. You and Rob both, actually. Maybe we'll bring them on at the same time. But thank you so much, Wade. That is awesome. Wade's got a great channel over there as well. He and Rob both. And make sure you guys check those out if you haven't checked out their channels and so on, because I know they put out a lot of great content, and it's different content than us, which is really cool. Yeah. So thank you so much. Much appreciated.
We should have like a variety show night or something where we bring all the people together. All the people. Thank you, Wade. Thank you, Wade.
So I think our last order of business for the day, because we may have somebody coming to buy a bed.
Oh yeah, we have people coming.
This bed, I am trying so hard to sell this bed, and this guy's like, "Yeah, I'll be there at 2 or 3 or whatever." He still even asked where we're at. I'm like, "How are you going to just get there? Like, you use a teleporter? You don't even know where we're located." But we are going to show you just kind of what we've done in the last few days.
We're going on a field trip. Hey, Duncan, happy anniversary, and the hand will dress up on Friday.
Are you leading the tour?
Oh, am I? Me and the hand?
All right. So what do we should we start? Doing? Should we start here with the shoes?
So shoe rack. What are we showing? Like, so these are so
we did not practice this.
No. So take 2. I just want to do the hand. So these are 2 of the racks, and what we decided to do is to put them back to back, and we're going to actually like twisty tie or zip tie them together so they're a little bit more substantial. But this is probably the most fortified we can make them.
Show how does it move much? I mean, can you
watch? This will be like the domino effect. You want not so much.
Not a lot, but
I could hip check it.
And it's not totally loaded down. Kaaren made me put a little more room in between these 2. I think this is like 32 inches.
Yeah.
32 inches
and then the first row was 28. But that way we can get a rolly through here or something, and it'll be fine. Are you showing these 2? The containers?
Yeah, well, the containers are still growing. As you guys can see, they're the jeans containers. And I added, I think I added 6 more yesterday. I've still got 7 more to add. And we're going to have to buy more of them. But every 13 of them comes in at about $100 to buy. But they do hold quite a bit.
Are these staying here? No.
I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those.
Okay. But this is all the jean inventory.
Yeah, the rest of the jeans are here, as you guys can see. They're all here now. It doesn't look like that many when it's in this warehouse, does it?
No, it doesn't. It does not. And the rolly racks and shipping. Don't show them all that stuff.
I'm not showing them anything.
So the shipping department still needs some work. I want to put either a pegboard, and we don't know if it's going to end up on the wall that it is or the wall
Pegboard seems like a great idea.
Yeah, because I want to, like, taking a page out of Hank's very organized new shipping department. I want to be able to hang the cool tape guns up. My new pizza cutter can hang as well. The tape, I think, would serve us better if it was on a dowel hanging somewhere. And then we have all the boxes. Like, we've acquired Regional A, Regional B, the 1092, the 1095, and everything, a place for everything in it. There she is. Big thumbs up.
I had to stop Kaaren today because guess what she tried to do?
What did I try to do?
You tried to wrap up a priority mail USPS box in brown paper and send it UPS.
They wouldn't. What they don't know can't hurt me.
Got her.
So apparently you're not supposed to repurpose USPS for other stuff. And actually, in all seriousness, you're not. So we found another stupid box to put the stupid phones in.
And make the stupid $2,500.
Well, there's that.
There's that. So yeah, guys, so we're doing well. Obviously, we still have our photo area and so on, which is set up just the way it was. And yeah, we're going to come back to the...
The humidity is very low.
It's very cold in here. That's why we're wearing our jackets.
We look like
it's like we came in this morning. It was 63. Yeah, it was snowing in Charlotte.
It snowed on our way. We drove through a veritable blizzard on the way in.
People are shaming you over your USPS story. I told you they would. Don't shame her. She didn't know.
I did know. Let's be honest.
She's like, but it'll be covered by brown paper. And I went, Kaaren.
It's fine. I don't do it normally.
That's true. We actually have never done it.
No.
And not a good idea, guys. All right, so
did somebody have a question, or is that a silly question?
Yeah, somebody had a question. What about dust and UV on the shoes? Well, there's no UV because there's no windows. There's no skylights or anything. Mm-hmm. But you're right. So I think you were talking about doing the.
So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to break down and go to, because they don't sell them at Target or the dollar store, at least around here. But I'm going to go break down and go to Walmart and get those really cheapy bread bags. A lot of y'all use them for different things. And I'm not going to close them, but I'm going to put the shoes in them to sort of act like a mini tarp to keep the dust off. Because part of our quality control doesn't end when the shoe sells and then we pack it up. Like, it's going to get a once over once again before it goes into the box. Like, I sold a pair of boots this morning. And they were fine. They weren't dusty or whatever. But I went ahead and wiped them down with the leather honey cleaner again, just to kind of moisten them up and make them as pretty as they could be. But
yeah, so we're going to handle the dirt and the dust and the grime. Because you guys are right. I mean, I noticed dust on our shoe shelves, and those were sitting, like we moved them here this morning, and those were sitting basically in our kitchen. So, I mean, who knows what kind of dust they would get here over a period of time.
No moths, no silverfish. Aaron asked that, right?
So far, no sign of pests. I mean,
no.
I think we may have seen a roach.
Yeah, but that's because food dropped on the floor.
Yeah, it's like one roach.
Else's department.
And we killed it, and that was that. I mean,
yeah,
if you got a big enough building, you're gonna have roaches from time to time. I don't care how.
And remember, there were things stored in this warehouse before all of this refurb started to happen. Yeah. And we've seen no critter like mouse damage, or I think the property does a really good job of that already anyway. Yeah. And I'm really hypersensitive to, like, if I see a moth or I know what a silverfish looks like and all that, those bad bugs that we get. But no, haven't seen any. And if we do, we'll take action.
People want to learn about Hank's shipping organization.
Hank is Hank, why don't you just come over? Come spend the weekend with us, and you can make our shipping department. It's wonderful.
That's right.
Come visit. I visit you. You visit me.
Wow, that was pitiful, but I like it.
Did puppy? I don't think puppy eyes work with Hank though.
They don't. Buy a pair of shoes, get a free roach. That, I mean, technically it wouldn't be item not as described if you included the roach.
Yeah.
But it could crawl away. Roaches are disgusting. I hate roaches.
You do hate roaches.
They're bad news. All right.
Kind of dirty.
Peppermint oil diluted and sprayed around the room helps with bugs. Oh, that's a good point. The diatomaceous earth will work too.
Well, there you go. You just wanted to say diatomaceous.
Diatomaceous or diatomaceous. I can't remember.
Osmosis.
Diatomosis. Mm-hmm. Diatomosis earth around. Oh, see, they say the same thing. Oh, that's pretty cool. Um,
Bonus.
it's not a Coach purse. It's a Roach purse. Wow.
Oh boy.
Rob with another super chat saying, "Can anyone recommend a room air purifier under $100?" Rob,
Ooh,
we would like the same thing.
Yeah, but I don't think we can, like, we would have to use like 4 of them in this warehouse because we've talked about that. We've talked about a dehumidifier / purifier all in one unit. And some of the bigger sellers, I think Joe might be able to weigh in on this. Joe, don't you use these things in your plethora of warehouses?
Deb says there's shoe totes from the dollar store that she uses.
Oh.
To store them in.
Oh, like
and they stay dust free.
My point of reference would be, are those the little like thin boxes that we use for Operation Christmas Child maybe? It looks like a shoe box. It's about that size and it has a lid, Deb. I think I know what you're talking about.
But I wonder if you could still get 5 across that shelf. Maybe.
Oh yeah, they're not that wide. No, they're not that wide. But okay. That puts us another $1 into those shoes.
Yeah.
Like we're already $40 in on the rack.
You could reuse them when you sold the shoes, but
or you could just do Operation Christmas Child.
Right.
There's that.
Right. If anybody's got any free shoe boxes they want to send us. Somebody asked about that today in Rebels, and I told them don't ship with shoes. Or they were cheap shoes, and the box was costing more because they're having to use a bigger box than the weight. So just take them out of the box. Ship them new other. Always a good tip for shoe sellers. You can ship new other if you don't want to include the box.
Oh yeah, Skip suggested that as well.
Because for a lot of shoes that you're going to sell that are lower end, people don't care about the box. Like if it's a Nike shoe, that's different. But if it's just some low end or run of the mill sort of bread and butter shoe, most people don't really care about the box that much. So you can always just sell them without it. Just say it's new without box.
Oh look, we're getting some answers for Rob's question about air purifiers. And I knew Amazon seller would have a suggestion too.
An Auric XL Pro. Yeah, and that would, I don't know how that would do here though, drummer. We have a concrete floor, we don't have carpet, which is probably better actually, because the concrete floor you can actually clean better than the carpet in a lot of ways. But
you know what I want to get? Like I want to get a Roomba, but like a warehouse Roomba to put on the floor and let the silly Roomba pick up all this dust. So that will be the new show and tell. This little Roomba going around constantly. It's well, you can get them, apparently you can get them used and yeah.
They're not that bad. Yeah. Would a Roomba work on a concrete floor in a warehouse? Does anybody know? I have no idea. Never used one before, but they look pretty crazy.
Well, because again, since we're just being so forthcoming and honesty today, more than giddy normal, but I may or may not have allowed this big pile of cardboard to go on the floor, and when I did it, I caused a tidal wave of dust to just whoosh.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was like the dust bowl formed right there above. Yeah. And I went, oh, don't do that. The floor is so dirty.
That's not all you did. You went.
No, I did not do that. It didn't make me cough. I just walked away from it. I'm like, I don't want to get all over my clothes.
Coughing as you went.
I did not cough. Kaaren is the queen of the fake cough.
True story.
But yeah, so it's been a great day today, a great middle of the week.
And if you like it. Oh, wait. I better be careful with my... Oh, sorry, people. That's a thumb. Really, it's a thumbs up. I promise.
Right.
It's been a great day.
But thank you guys for hanging out with us today. We plan to be back on Friday.
Yes, we do.
I don't know what we'll be talking about, but it'll be something. And we've got a few more shoes to bring over. And then there's actually some hanging we have too, but kind of debating on bringing that here.
What are we going to do with that? So we have our own version of a death pile that we're debating if we're going to list or if we're going to just...
Oh, the one thing I was going to say, the fact that we've now de-inventoried our house, we are considering moving to a smaller house or moving to or back to an apartment or something like that where we figured we could save a pretty substantial amount of money.
Yeah. Potentially.
We're not sure we're going to do that, but we know now we do not need that much room, which is nice. So we can save that money from, the space and so on. I don't know if we're going to do that or not.
But the house is just, we have now, once we get the garage done, we'll have the sunroom is empty, the dining room is empty, arguably the front room office is empty, the top extra bedroom is empty, the warehouse, what used to be the warehouse, the garage, there's a 2-car garage that's empty as well. So it's literally a whole house worth of emptiness that we are or we're struggling to continue. Why are we going to continue to pay for it?
We will definitely clear out at least 300 square feet.
Oh God, at least.
Yeah, well, not tremendous amount more than that, but some. Sure. So 300 square feet less that you need could be substantial savings if you go, you know, house shopping or apartment shopping, what have you. So we'll see what that happens. Better hurry because interest rates are going up. Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I don't know if we'd buy a house. Maybe just go to the apartment rent. We liked apartment living.
I did. I moved into an apartment for the first time in my entire life 4 years ago or 5 years ago. And I loved it. 4 years ago, yep. I loved it.
She did. She loved not having the upkeep and all that. And apartments can be great in certain cases. And
well, and they cannot be great. But.
They cannot be great too, for sure. All right, but look, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Check out the description for an awful lot of helpful links and so on, and hit that like button, right?
Smash it.
She's so funny when she does that. But we'll see you guys back on Friday in a couple days, and I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday.
And as always, this is Just Ask Kaaren.
And Prof Sales
saying good sales to you. We did it.